One of my favorite memories on my uncle's farm was using a tractor-mounted corn picker to pick corn. It was a brief experience for me, but Dave Struthers from Iowa, you have made a lot of fun out of using tractor-mounted corn pickers.
Yeah, we have. My dad had a dream in the early 2000s to start collecting corn pickers and preserving that type of history, because he grew up picking corn, not threshing oats like some of the shows do. And it's grown to be kind of an addiction for him. He's got about 27 mounted corn pickers and about 14 of them operational.
You can get some work done.
Well, it takes a lot of work to get them going is what it takes, but we host an annual picking and plowing day there on the farm, and it's open to anyone. It's a free event there in central Iowa, the third Saturday of October, and we just have a lot of people come out and that have either done it or have heard about it, or grandpa did it, and they come out and watch or operate, whichever they prefer.
And speaking of operating it, tell us a little bit about the setup you've got today.
Well, the setup we got today is a 1600 Oliver. I believe it's about a 63 or 64 model with a number 74 Oliver corn picker on it. My dad purchased a picker through hearsay of a guy that had a case picker near Osage, Iowa. We went up to get it. The guy also had a 1600 Oliver tractor he wanted to sell, and I talked him out of buying it. And about 2 months later, my dad was featured in Wallace's Farmer magazine as a master farmer, and a story was about him starting to preserve corn pickers. And a guy from the northwest corner of Iowa said, "I've got a 74 picker. I'd sure love to have you preserve." And so my dad acquired that. Then we had to go back and get that 1600 we turned down earlier.
That's quite a story. And, these were used 60s, early 70s, that kind of thing, picking ear corn. Do you remember days on the farm using these yourself?
I never picked corn with a mounted picker. We picked corn when I was a kid. My grandfather was a tenant farmer, and his landlord's half always went in the crib. But we had a pull-type John Deere picker, so I never ran a mounted picker till 2011 when we first started this event.
And since you've had that event, I know you have had one gentleman that really loved operating this machine. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we had this exact machine here. This gentleman, I don't know who he was or where he was from or how he heard about us, but he came out and he picked 4 to 5 loads that day, and the field got done. He was all dirty, got off, and this big old smile. The only thing white on him was his teeth, and he was just all black, covered with dirt, and said, "I haven't done this since 1968. I got drafted to Vietnam. Dad had a tractor and picker just like this. When I got out of the service, the picker was gone and a combine had replaced it," and he was just so tickled.
Yeah, a lot of people really love to see this old machinery in action, I know. What are some of the things that you think made this a good setup for a farmer back in those days?
Well, one man could open a field. The mounted was nice. You could go in and open a field. You didn't have to leave a border or have the neighbor with a mounted picker come and open it for you if you had a pull type. A guy could do it. Ear corn is a wonderful feed for cattle. I still keep several wagon loads full when we get done with the picking day, because we don't have a crib. We shell on site when we're picking, and I grind what I leave in the wagons. I grind that for my cow herd.
So this Oliver 74, how easy is it to get on and off the tractor when you want to do that?
Well, we've never had to do that, so I don't know. We've had to put it on, and that's always the stipulation, but we're at the situation right now that we've got pickers on tractors, and that's just where they stay.
And when you're the operator of a machine like this, what's the feeling up there? Is it, I know it's a little bit warm and windy sometimes, but what's it like operating the machine?
It's enjoyable to see the corn coming in there, and especially if you got a year where it's husking nicely. It's kind of a struggle to find the right varieties that pick good and clean, and nowadays we breed genetics for dry down, and I don't want something too dry that's shelling when it's coming through the machine and leaving all that grain on the ground. And that's a big challenge, but each year's different. The first year we did it, we had just a perfect day, and I thought, well, why did all these people used to complain about how crummy this job was? And then we had a year where it was kind of misty rain, and one year it was terrible hot, and one it was windy, and I could see why they had some complaints.
Yeah, you're out there in the elements for sure. So when you bring a 1600 Oliver tractor with a 74 mounted corn picker to a show like this summer show, what kind of reaction do you get?
Oh, we get a lot of good reaction. People like to see the equipment that was attached to the tractors and not just the tractors themselves. And it's difficult to maneuver, plows and field cultivators and other pieces of equipment that go on a tractor. And this thing's kind of tricky to load itself, but fortunately it does raise up a lot higher than some of the pickers we have. And it's went to the Farm Progress show before in the Iowa Corn Belt Oliver's display near Boone, Iowa, and been displayed. So it is one of the few that I can transport a little better than the others.
And this is really an important part of agricultural history, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, because if we need to get these young people out here to see what goes on. We're fortunate that our farm is about 25 miles from Iowa State University, and they have a tractor club there. And we had a group of the kids come out, and many of them had never seen corn pickers, or one boy actually was from New Jersey from a vegetable farm, and he'd never even seen grain harvest, and let alone picking corn. And we got him up on the tractor and got him trained on how to do that. Before the end of the day, he was picking corn, something he had never done in his life or even seen.
Well, Dave, thanks so much to you and your dad for what you're doing to preserve this history.
You're very welcome. We do get a lot of appreciation for it. My mom's always been concerned about all the corn we leave out in the field that we can't gather up. And she was 2 years ago wanted to call it quits because of all the money we're losing with the corn on the ground. And then after last year, all the people were just so appreciative of it. She says, I've changed my mind. It's worth a little money.
Hey, thanks for catching Classic Tractor Fever. If you'd like to see more Oliver tractors, be sure to check out these other great stories. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button to keep our Oliver tractor stories rolling.